would like to welcome you back to one of my meditation talks. Um, just had an interesting meditation this evening and just decided I wanted to talk to you. I guess it's to help people who don't know where to start with meditation. I know even now there are days when the mind is more active than other days. But I remember at the beginning when it seemed like my mind had a million thoughts. It was all going in different directions, and it was full of anxiety and fears and addictive needs, all these types of things. And meditation was actually kind of uncomfortable. It was comfortable but uncomfortable in a way. It was comfortable because it was nice to sit still and I listened to nice music and burned some incense. But I wasn't getting much mental quietness. So what do you do when meditation is like jumping into a pool of sharks? So lots of thoughts attacking you, right? And I guess this is one of the most important things that meditation can teach you. That when we decide in the present that we would like to sit still and just be content, that there's a lot of things inside our brains or inside our consciousness that seems to oppose that idea. And it's good to be able to examine what that is exactly from a safe spot. So in meditation, we're creating a safe spot to sit and watch all this energy running around in our minds and not only affecting our meditation, but also affecting every aspect of our life, right? It's good to find a safe spot to sit back quietly and safely to watch what's going on and to slowly begin to think about these things one by one. All these things that are interrupting our desire is in the present. For meditation, that desire is to sit still, but we may have other desires in the present. The desire to be healthy, right? The desire to be friendly and kind to people, right? Not to be so miserable every day. And yet there seems to be a lot that is opposing us and our present desires, right? And they seem to be coming from us, right? So let's explain why that happens and how we can untie that. So first of all, finding the safe spot. The safe spot is found, just give me a second, honey. This is my little dog. She's been meditating me since she came here. She's now a year old. Right, my girl? Yeah. But she likes to play now. No more playing, honey. So the safe spot is found by sitting still in the present. In the present, there's no danger. Right? We can see clearly that there's nothing in the room that's going to hurt me. And I'm full. So I concentrate I just allow my consciousness to focus on the present. And in the present, since I'm in a safe spot physically, I can be content. To just not need anything. And if you have trouble doing this at the beginning, just pretend to need nothing. It's simple, right? We just pretend to need nothing. Just need nothing. And so, if thoughts come to us that are attacking us, if we truly were in a contented state, which means that we had it all figured out, right? Then these thoughts would come against a being that had it all figured out. Completely good, was content, was not having any problems. And so you see how those thoughts really do not have the power that they used to have, because they only have power with somebody who doesn't understand or doesn't know what to do next, right? So we're just doing this to examine it for a second. I'm not saying this is the solution to the problem, but I'm saying that we're finding a safe spot watch these problems for a second. This could take a long, not a long time. It could take quite a while through meditation to build this spot. But once it's there, it'll always be there. And so basically, the reason why we're safe in the present, because physically we are safe. So we are sitting in the present safely, listening to objections from from consciousness. Things that are arguing or bothered by the fact that we're sitting still, right? We're not going to figure out what they are yet. We're just going to sit there safely watching them. And my teacher would say the reason why we were safe is because he says this energy that is coming up and approaching and attacking stillness or contentment is our discontentment. It's ways that we have formed discontentment in the past. We're discontent unless we have this. We're discontent unless this is how people feel about us. We're discontent unless we have this much money or whatever it is, right? And so this kinds of discontentment are irritated by us sitting still, because there's a lot of things to do to bring this discontentment to contentment, right? However, it never goes away. But by sitting there still and watching it, we begin to realize that if this is our energy, simply a discontented form of our consciousness, then it has no power over us any stronger than the power we have over it. We are the same being. So we begin to realize that we cannot be overpowered by these negative thoughts or these narrow thoughts from the past, because they simply are us acting out in the present, but energy that was started in the past, either to defend us in some way or to protect us in some way. So this is loving energy, but it's attached, just as the Buddha said, it is attached to a way of being. So one way of thinking about it is thinking about consciousness in the present as open consciousness. Consciousness that is either content or seeking an answer by looking around to understand things. Right? So this is the energy that we can watch from calmly. But the energy that comes and plagues us in meditation is energy from the past, like I said, energy that is somehow set itself up to protect us or to get things that it needs, things that we stumbled upon in the past innocently, but these things now are acting on their own in a sense. They want to be repeated over and over again. So instead of being an open loop that is open to new thinking and new ways of being, these forms of consciousness have formed in the past, and they are closed loops of consciousness. So a loop of consciousness that wants to smoke, right? And it keeps on, that asks for smoke, it'll be fine, it'll be content, and then it'll want less smoke again, and it keeps on going around. So this part of our consciousness, its job is to get cigarettes, right? And as long as you follow it, when it asks you for a cigarette and you give it one, it'll be fine. But don't take one away from it, because you'll see that this will start to rise up against us, right? So these closed loops of consciousness that come from desires or fears or anxieties or even addictive tendencies, these are closed loops of consciousness that, when they're not satisfied, begin to attack the present. In fact, they don't like us sitting in the present because they'd rather us be attending to their needs, right? So our conscious energy becomes divided as time goes on. In the beginning, we had no past and no past experiences, so all of our energy was in the present and was open. But as time goes on, we become attached to certain ways and attached to certain things and certain people and certain thoughts and certain expectations. And these things become closed loops that, unless they are fulfilled and satisfied, they will encroach upon our present consciousness. So these are actually limited ways of thinking, because they are closed. This is not consciousness searching for a new answer or a fresh idea. It already has an answer. It is using all of our intelligence to simply manipulate things to get that thing over and over again. So we find that when this type of energy is controlling our actions, which it can, as time goes on and years go by, you can be almost run completely by these urges that are coming constantly, basically, interrupting our flow in the present until we have no present. We are simply getting up and attending to our addictions and our needs and our weaknesses, and then going back to sleep again. But this is not how life was meant to be. So the first step, not to get too far off base here, but the first step is to sit there and find that quiet, safe spot of contentment, and to just let these urges from the past kind of roll off, as things that really do not lead to contentment at all, but lead to a form of discontentment that must be attended to constantly. And one by one, we can start to look at these things more seriously and begin to untie those knots by dealing with that energy one-on-one through discussions about whether this is really the way we should be thinking and whether it was time to change our ways of thinking, and kind of slowly untie those knots until they're gone, leaving all of our consciousness in the present. The problem with consciousness when it becomes split up is that, we can have 50% of ourself in the present and 50% being pushed from the past experiences, and we can move at 0% forward, right? And we can find ourselves stuck in a rut, in a sense, and not able to escape them. But finding meditation difficult is the key to ending that. So don't shy away from meditation if it seems difficult at first. Begin building that quiet spot where you can sit and watch in the present these consciousnesses that are attached to past events, and then slowly untie those past events until they're no longer bothering us. Bring those unresolved issues to resolution. Bring our addictions to end. Bring our fears, to an end by looking at them. And we will find that we can have all of our attention in the present and none of it in the past. And that is how it was intended. So anyways, that's my meditation talk for today. I am sure it confused some of you. But if you have any questions, please leave them below. And again, I thank you very much and look forward to talking to you again. Namaste.